I think this might be the first video I have ever done on Judd Apatow on my channel, or any of the channels that I've had, period. But I have mentioned him in passing. But today I saw something on Twitter that I just could not ignore. Now, I tried to get a picture of the other person that's going to be involved with this, but I'll mention them as the video goes on. So Deadline Hollywood had posted up an article in which they talked to Tyler Perry. And in that article, Tyler had mentioned that he writes all of his shows. And he pretty much does. He writes all of his plays. He writes all of his shows and writes all of his movies. And he pretty much directs and produces. He's like a one-man wrecking crew. He does it all. And over the years, I noticed that Tyler Perry, from a various amount of people, had got flack for that because they feel like he was being selfish and he wasn't allowing people or other writers to come in and help him write his shows. They're not saying that he has to write, that they have to write every single thing without him having his stamp of approval or his name attached to it. But for him to write every single thing, they feel like, why does he keep doing it? Because then eventually it feels like he would run out of material. A lot of the stuff would sound the same. You just rearrange the characters around the scenery and call it something else, but it still has almost the same plot. And that's something he has gotten criticized about over the years. But it's one thing when you have those little bit of criticisms right there, but it's another when you have someone like Judd Apatow come out and say what he said on Twitter in response to that article, especially considering the type of person that he is. If you watch any video that Harvey does on his channel talking about Judd Apatow, he pretty much gives you a rundown of what type of guy this person is. And that's why I went to Google and I tried to find the goofiest picture I could find, and trust me and believe me, it wasn't hard to find. So what Judd Apatow said in response, he said, "The most fun part of running a show is the writer's room. You should try it at Tyler Perry." And he mentioned him, so he wants Tyler Perry to see this. "You make friends and laugh. Lots of Chinese food too. Occasionally someone says something so funny that you can't breathe. Usually it's just a story from life and not usable in the show." Basically, he's criticizing Tyler Perry's writing, basically saying that Tyler Perry is a horrible writer or a subpar writer. Meanwhile, what's the last thing that Judd Apatow has written besides tweet on Twitter? I can't remember the last thing he's had his name attached to that he's actually been involved with and didn't pay to get his name slapped onto something. This is the same person that unfortunately gave us Lena Dunham. Wasn't he a part of that show Girls as well? I can't remember if he was or if he wasn't. Let's be real here. Judd Apatow only has his foot in the door because of who he is. I don't have to go into complete detail. It is what it is. Now, what I find very interesting is that Tyler Perry, I don't know what the length of time Judd Apatow has been in Hollywood, but let's just hypothetically say that he's been in longer than Tyler Perry, or he's been out there way longer mainstream wise. Judd Apatow, how is it that you've been in the industry way longer, mainstream more longer than Tyler Perry has, and this man has managed to accomplish more in the last 10 years than you've had in the last, I don't know how many years you've been in this industry. This man literally has his own studio in Atlanta, Georgia, that he actually successfully was able to get, even after being outbid by other entities that wanted to buy that property. A lot of y'all didn't know that, but Tyler Perry was outbid by other people. Meaning you would think that they will get the property, but the people down there who were working, who owned the land, said, "You know what? We're going to give it to Tyler Perry because we see his vision. His business is definitely going to bring in a lot of economy, a lot of equity." And it is. Let's be real here. When Tyler Perry started to shoot stuff in Atlanta, it drew a lot of people from Hollywood to go there and shoot stuff too because of the cost. It costs a lot of money to shoot stuff in Hollywood nowadays. It always has been. It's cheaper in Atlanta. Atlanta has now become the Hollywood of the East Coast, and is mainly due in part to Tyler Perry. And Tyler Perry knows how to keep people employed, especially in front of the camera. Mainly black actors and actresses. Like I said, you can say what you want about the guy, but he can keep a black person employed. Whether you are a mainstream actor or actress or a up and coming unknown actor or actress, a lot of people have gotten their foot in the door through Tyler Perry. Judd Apatow, can you say the same? Because I can't remember the last time you put a black person on into any of your productions and they blew up. At least Tyler Perry, starting out, he used mainly black actors, but then he became more diverse over the years, and a lot of white actors started to flock to him, and then they started to blow up in their own way as well. Look at Sofia Vergara. The first time I ever saw her in anything was something related to Tyler Perry. As a matter of fact, I think she was in 2 of his movies, and look at her now. And a few others as well. He even gives actors an opportunity who probably haven't acted in anything for years thanks to whatever it is going out there with that Hollywood machine, and he got them jobs and roles and whatnot. Look at what happened with the actor who played Elvin on The Cosby Show. I forget his name right now. His name escapes me, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Tyler Perry was the first one to reach out to him after that whole thing happened with him that, kind of propelled him back out there and gave him a job. I can't knock that. I can't. I can say some things about Tyler Perry that I don't agree with that he puts into his stuff, but I can't knock that. That would be facetious of me. And for Judd Apatow to say that's typical of him. That's why it's not surprising that he said it. It's typical of him and those of his ilk. Maybe Judd Apatow, just maybe, this formula works for Tyler Perry, and apparently it is, because it got him into his own studio that he owns. He owns that studio in the land that it sits on. I remember watching a video and he did a tour of his studio in a golf cart. And I can't believe how big that studio is. I think they said they're going to start doing tours soon. That's going to be more money. Turn his studio into a tourist attraction. That's going to be more money coming into Atlanta in the state of Georgia. Are you doing that, Judd Apatow? To me, it sounds like he's jealous. It sounds like Judd Apatow is jealous. Maybe because he can't write adequate things himself. I don't even know. Does anybody know what role Judd Apatow plays out there in Hollywood besides being the troll of Hollywood? Because that seems like the only thing he ever does is troll all damn day. And why no one has called him out on his BS is beyond me. But then again, I kind of know why. It's because of who he is. But I'm going to leave it right there. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and have the notifications turned on. And I will talk to you in the next one.